As we celebrate the 100th anniversary, I am just amazed at how this community has embraced this theater for so many different reasons. So many memories are made here. My actual in-laws had their first date here when they went to Franklin College many years ago. So many people have memories like that. It's such a special place for the community. There's so many people that volunteer their time and their efforts and their money. You know, there's a lot of donations and private money that goes into making this such a great success. And I think it's really, truly the heart of our downtown. Just the connection people have with it. And, you know, where do you want to meet downtown? Well, everybody knows where the Artcraft is. And it's just been such a huge impact on downtown revitalization for Franklin. It was really the very first major building that, you know, started this huge renovation several years ago that brought people into downtown to eat and to shop that hadn't probably been downtown for a while. Downtown was pretty dead in those days. And it's just been such a blessing to the downtown community.
We saw a gradual deterioration in product and what people were making that a lot of people didn't want to see. So medium-sized budgeted pictures just were not doing the kind of business they had. We can go back to the pictures you're playing now here at the Artcraft and see a good storyline that made sense. Those kind of pictures, to me, diminished and kind of went away in the 70s and 80s. Mm. And we wound up with a bunch of superhero movies with the only pictures doing any business. We did see a gradual deterioration in admissions at Canary Creek, and that theaters were losing their heart and soul that you reclaimed here at the Artcraft.
One of the things about the Artcraft is you have to understand its history, and it was vaudeville. And so you had tap dancers, you had singers, you had jugglers, you had all of this kind of stuff, but you had a short silent movie at that same time. And so I thought if we could grab some of that magic that they had on this stage back then and just do a short tongue-in-cheek kind of short attention span theater. And so before each movie we would do something like that. And it was a way to engage the audience so that this is their theater. They get to play back and forth with it. The long distance award, it was trying to get these folks to buy in, to be stakeholders. Now, some of them had lived here and had been in the Artcraft many years. Others saw this opportunity to bring back this amazing theater, and so they said, I'll volunteer. I'll come in and I'll work weekends and I'll do this. But I think they all had that same kind of feeling that we could do this. We could bring this back. And what would that do for our town? What would make our town that much better is if we got this place up and running. And I think a lot of people sensed that and they felt it. And once you're outside, you see all of those twinkling lights on the marquee, and you just see the popcorn going, and it's animating the street. And some of what we did with our short attention span theater would be like Wizard of Oz, and you got 17 people in costume outside. The show starts at the sidewalk, is what they always said with theaters. And so you're grabbing some of that attention.
It has an aura or a spirit or whatever you want to say that makes you want to take care of it. The Artcraft was a homebody. It was built for the community, but the community wasn't just Franklin. It was all of Johnson County, because there wasn't anything else. There was boys' high school sports, and people came to the Artcraft. They came on Saturdays with the kids. Families came. The Artcraft was homey, and when there was nobody using it, it was a sad place. And I think we responded to that sadness by saying, you deserve better. You deserve better. and maybe we can do that.
And we decided, it's got to be more than a movie. It's got to be an event. It's got to be something that sets us apart from your multiplexes. What do we do that we can set ourselves apart? Well, if we show older classic movies in the same theater that they were shown before, and we can have a little fun with this, have the audience, yelling out their ticket numbers, and there's an electricity here. There's a magic when this place is full of people and they're happy and they're excited and they're watching the same movie together. And it could be Jaws, and Jaws in the 70s, it still has the same impact today. That first row, that first lady goes, ah, and it goes all the way through the audience, and everybody feels that. And it's the same with a scary movie or with a Christmas movie, and it's like, everybody's, oh gosh, and wiping their eyes and all that kind of stuff. But it's watching this movie, this event, as a collective, as a social collective. We're not on any team at this point in time. We're just all enjoying a movie.
I think what pulls people in are the volunteers and the passion that just everybody kind of catches the fever, if you will. Everybody wants to kind of get involved.
My husband and I came to a movie almost 20 years ago. I don't remember what the movie was, but we walked into the theater and I was sucked in then. It smelled, it was creepy, dirty, it had stains on the carpet, the seats were broken, but I fell in love with it. So shortly after that, I got involved. I ended up on the board, but I could see the vision, and it was an exciting project. So I've been helping out ever since.
All of us, at some point in time, kind of felt that energy, that desire to say, this can really work, I can help it. And it doesn't take much. And it's just having that passion and that enthusiasm to greet people, to be there, to make people feel welcome when they're in the theater, to help them have fun, to watch the movie, to not only experience the movie in the 35 millimeter film, as well as just the energy and passion of the folks behind the counter, at the concessions, as well as the ushers. Everybody is enthusiastic when the show or when it's open.
This is such a majestic place, and it's been here for 100 years. And to me, it's just a fabulous theater. It was back in the 20s, and it has been for a long time, and now we're trying to revive it. But I think it's just the opportunity to have such a historic place restored that I really wanted to be a part of that.
Well, my earliest memory of the Artcraft was as a youngster at Northwood Elementary. We would bring canned goods to school for a fundraiser called the Good Cheer Fund, which continues even to this day, of which I was a part of for a period of time, and actually still am active with it. But for each canned good you brought in, you got a free movie at the Artcraft on Saturday morning. So it was a big deal to come down here on Saturday, if nothing else, just to watch the cartoons and take part in the concessions. And so that's my earliest memory. I saw Kissin' Cousins. My first Elvis movie was in 1964. Mom was an Elvis fan. She drugged one of her neighbor ladies from the neighborhood, and we all came down here, her kids and Mom and us, and watched Kissin' Cousin. That was a good experience. Went here a lot in junior high. Again, Rob and I like to tell stories about what went on when I was a kid growing up. The middle section in junior high, that would have been around 1966, 1967. That was where the junior high kids, if they were boyfriend, girlfriend, they met in the middle of the auditorium, sat there and made out. Typically, I was about 5 to 6 rows behind all of that, and certainly just got to witness all the action that was going on in front of me. It was all innocent stuff, but it was a good memory. I guess it would have been better if I would have been part of it, but I was not, so that's the way it turns out.
The purchase and revitalization of the Artcraft really worked because from the very start, Rob and the people who were working on it, myself included, realized we had to do something to give people a reason to walk in the door. And so a very entertainment/community approach was taken. We weren't going to show art house films. We weren't going to show the blockbusters. We were going to show a lot of stuff that was family oriented, but fun to go to. So it became an event. It wasn't just showing up at the movies. You're coming for the fresh popcorn from Norton Farms. You're coming for the wheel of prizes so you don't get mesmerized. You're coming for the skit. You're coming for the cartoon before the movie. You're coming for the national anthem. And all these things became a part of making the theater an integral part of the community of Franklin. And that really gets people in the doors. It's not just the movie, it's the feel you get when you walk in the door.
Over the years, I think that I started in close to '05 when the Franklin Heritage bought the Artcraft, and I was brought in to do some electrical work. And the big thing that I remember was the first showing that they had. The electricity shut down and I was here. And so me and another guy got together and we took the cover off the panel, put a fan in front of it to keep it cool, and which worked up until we got the new 800 amp put in, and which has been great ever since.
You know, I love Franklin. I own the restaurant next door, and I lived right next door to that. And when I came down here, everybody was so friendly and so helpful, and it's just a wonderful place to live, and I love being part of the community. I feel like I'm such a small part of that, you know, because I only owned it for 4 years, and I don't really believe I saved it. You know, I think that if I hadn't have bought it, somebody else would have. But I'm glad I was part of that, and I really enjoyed it when I had it.
I worked at the Artcraft Theater and the Franklin Theater, which were both owned by Truman Rimbush. And I'd work 2 hours at one to relieve the concession worker and walk around the corner, Jefferson Street, to the other one, to work to the Artcraft to work 2 hours. And a lot of times there was people lined up clear down the street waiting to buy tickets.
But I think it's great that Franklin has done it. We've got a lot of good publicity for the town as well as the Artcraft Theater, and the Heritage people have been responsible for doing that. And I think they're to be congratulated for doing that kind of thing. I really appreciate it, and I think most people in town do.
You know, there's an unseen power here that wants to draw people into the theater. I just think it's the history of the theater, and everybody wants to come in and see success. This has been successful, and people want to see Franklin succeed, the people that's lived here forever, even new people that come in and they see the energy that's in this room whenever you have different events here. And there is a variety of events. Yes, we have movies here, and they also have dance recitals and other things that they can bring in. But that just the sense of camaraderie with everybody, the friendliness of it, it's a safe environment to be in, to bring your kids, and people focus on the camaraderie of the people, and I know I get energized when I walk in the doors and see all the volunteers on how they're smiling and hey, I'm glad you're here and hope you enjoy the movie, and oh, by the way, it's $6 to get in the doors, and that's unheard of. So the spirit of trying to make this go with economic for families is great, and that brings the families here that's excited they can have their kids come and watch a good movie and not spend an arm and a leg and just enjoy the downtown area.
The 100 years, I think about the Artcraft and how vital it has been to the community over the years. One memory that stands out to me, it happened several Christmas seasons ago when we came downtown for the Christmas lighting celebration, and there was an energy that I'd not seen in some time in downtown Franklin. Many people stated it kind of reminded you of a little bit of a Hallmark movie in terms of how it was done. But I thought it more as a Super Bowl village in terms of how people were gathering and having a good time. But the center of it all was the Artcraft Theater. I mean, it was right there. And that image still sticks with me.
As we get ready to celebrate the 100 years that this theater has given us, you know, all of these many decades of cinema, there's so many stories yet to tell, and so many people that have to share those with us, and everybody who's ever been to the Artcraft has a story, whether that's their first date or first kiss or whatever, and it's just there's something about this place that is just stuck in people's memories, and it's very transformative.
Franklin Heritage and their role in the Artcraft did in fact revitalize Franklin, partly because we touched so many lives, and some of the lives we touched were people who were in positions to make things happen. So it wasn't just the Artcraft, but the lives outside the Artcraft, the people, you know, I told you that people came in with memories, but their children now are serving in official capacities, and they would hear the conversation and start thinking, well, you know, maybe my small business would have a place there. Maybe the people coming out of the Artcraft need somewhere to eat. So in that sense, it was both what we were doing as an entertainment, but also who we were impacting to make other decisions. And in light of that same thing, what I think we did not possibly anticipate, and this is where Rob was way ahead of us, people started coming from all over. And Franklin became a destination. And that was the furthest thing from our thought when we began this whole process, that Franklin would become a destination and the Artcraft would be a part of that. And that's just incredibly exciting.
It just makes me really proud of, you know, everyone's time and effort that has gone into this to make it what it is today. Also, I would just say, I think the reason the Artcraft continues to be successful is because, yes, we have a very dedicated board and volunteers, but we also have a Rob Schultz. He's basically dedicated his life to this theater, and all of his time, his family time is here, and I don't know that it would be what it is today without someone doing that. And I think that's why this place is as special as it is.
But we want you to be part of this history because you need to pass this on to these next generations so they can feel the same thing that had been brought back from 100 years ago.
If Truman Rimbush is the owner of the theaters, I think he would be happy now to see the Artcraft is still surviving and moving ahead.